Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are NC.
On a beautiful Sunday afternoon, we celebrate Mother's Day and recognize the moms who help guide their sons with their dreams of becoming Major League Baseball players. It's a great day for baseball and a wonderful day to look back and thank Mom. Royals baseball, happy Mother's Day. And after winning yesterday 7-0, the Royals have a chance to take 2 out of 3 from the Cleveland Indians. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark. Happy Mother's Day with Rex Hudler. I'm Brian Lefevre. Hud, you go first.
That's right, Jennifer. I love you. You're a great mother, and there's nothing better than a mother's love. Thank you, honey.
I've got 3 Mother's Day today. My mother, Jean, who's a big Royals fan. My mother-in-law, Linda, and, of course, my wife, Sarah, who's home taking care of 4 crazy
God
kids.
bless her.
So happy Mother's Day. And the mothers would be really happy today if the Royals could take 2 out of 3 from the Indians and get back on track.
Get that swagger going. Are you kidding? They've come this far. They seem like they're hitting woes are over, and mainly their pitching woes are over. But, man, how about that? Let's snap that little action that they had and continue on to the Big Apple, get on the bus here, and forget about us.
That last line, too, the Royals, they've been right around 500, but they've played very well within the division. 7-2 against the Twins, the Tigers, and now the Indians. And suddenly the Royals are starting to hit with runners in scoring position. We'll talk about that when we come back. the sweet sounds of the Royals hitting in double digits yesterday and winning 7-0. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard for most of the very early part of the season. We were talking about the Royals struggling with runners in scoring position. They've done a lot better than get a little better.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's been hot and cold with this team. But one thing for sure, we knew that average would start creeping up. It's in the Royal DNA. They love to come from behind wins. They love those big hits, especially with 2 outs. Can't wait to see more of it this afternoon.
Edinson Volquez will get the ball today for the Royals. Josh Tomlin for the Indians. Cleveland today, and once again, our play ball kid is Rex Hudler from Overland Park. Play ball!
But we never gonna take care like my Monte Carlo. We're gonna try, gonna doing the best, but I think we don't have money to pay my mom back what she do for me.
Happy Mother's Day, and players on both teams are wearing pink accents. So what used to be pink batting gloves, pink wristbands, maybe a pink bat. Now the batting gloves, the sleeves, and for the Royals and the Indians today, the numerals will be pink, as well as the Kansas City across the front of the jersey. For breast cancer awareness, Alcides Escobar is decked out in his pink today, so is Indians catcher Yan Gomes. And this is right-hander Josh Tomlin, who is 4-0 this year in his 4 starts.
Opponents hitting 258 off of him. But you know what's impressive for him is really 16 strikeouts in 23 innings. You know, for not being overpowering, that tells you he's got good stuff and he'll move the ball around.
Routine fly ball to Bird in right field. Marlon Bird there for the first out.
He's going to work that fastball in the upper 80s. Okay, nothing more than that. He might reach a 90, maybe a 91, but he likes to keep the ball down and sinks it. He's a strike thrower. He's going to come right at you. He's got a big curveball he likes to use with 2 strikes. That's his big pitch, his out pitch. But he feeds off of hitters that overswing. He loves those guys up there trying to muscle up. Makes a good living off of them as he keeps the ball down and he comes right at. He wants you to swing at his first 2 pitches. That's his goal. Not that one.
Lorenzo Cain is 3 out of 8 with a run scored in the first 2 games of the series. Down and away, 2 balls and no strikes. Our Kubota power stats for today. And Lorenzo Cain has added 47 points to his batting average over the last 8 games. He had another multi-hit game yesterday, so he has 5 multi-hit games over that stretch of 8. Still looking for his first double. I'll bet it happens today.
How about it? With his type of speed, really doesn't have to hit a ball, you know, right to the left or right of the outfielder to get a double. He's got that kind of speed. We'll see. Good call, right?
There we go.
You're hot. Better get there.
Brantley plays it on a hop. Come on, Lorenzo, get in there.
And he still doesn't have a double. Darn it. Good try right now. Hey, there you go. All right. He's crediting Brantley. Brantley, he's a thrower. He's a lot like Alex Gordon. He's a tremendous athlete, and he knows that wall. When you hit that wall on the line, it's like playing in Fenway Park, that close, big wall there. You better hustle to get into second base. Oh, it's a good try. Brantley picks it up, fires a 1-hopper. Ooh, right on the money, honey. You are out. Good play.
So 2 down to Eric Hosmer, and he grounds it right to Lindor. So Tomlin has an 8-pitch top of the first inning, thanks to the play in left field by Michael Brantley. Going to lead off for the Indians for the second time in this series. The former catcher who doesn't run very well, but it's been a good move for Terry Francona. He has led off in now 10 of the last 13 games, and in those games he's had an on-base percentage of over 400. Edinson Volquez, very similar to Ian Kennedy in that he's only had one bad start, and that was against the Angels. Kennedy came back with 2 good starts since the one against the Angels, and Volquez last time out gave the Royals 7 2/3 innings. It's the longest start by a Royals pitcher this year. That was on Monday against the Nationals.
There's a few guys on the Cleveland Indians that hit him pretty well, but they know they've got their hands full. 3-pitch guy, good hard fastball. He'll go 90 to 94 with that pitch, and he's got a really good overhand curveball that's down in the zone when he's on, and his changeup is a special pitch, especially against lefties. Likes to fade that away from them, keep it out of their zone. Oh.
High, deep, Dyson all the way back, and Santana opens the bottom of the first with a home run. Number 5 for him.
Never know if he's taking or if he's swinging, and this time he's swinging. That's belt high on the outer half and up and elevated. All he's got to do is get underneath it like he did. Slight breeze blowing out that helped him some. But Edinson had to turn the page quickly and think down.
Here's Jason Kipnis. It was the Royals who struck first yesterday, getting the 3-run home run from Kendrys Morales. But in the games prior to that, the Royals had allowed at least 1 run in the first inning. So now they've given up a run in the first in 5 of the last 6 games.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when the opponents score first, the Royals are just 3-10. So it was a race to see who could score first. The Tribe, when the opponents score first, they're just 2-9. So hope that stat doesn't hold up today. Long way to go. Tomlin, he can give up some homers as well.
Inside, 1-2 on Kipnis. Volquez in that start Monday against Washington allowed both of his runs in the first inning. He really only had his changeup working the way he wanted to in that inning, and gave up the 2 runs, and then had 6 2/3 scoreless innings the rest of the way. The Royals ended up losing that game 2-0. There's the final line, 114 pitches and a season best 7 2/3 innings. Breaking ball is pulled foul, still 1-2.
Love all the pink here today for sure, especially how about the umpire? He's Quinn Wolcott has a pink mask and straps like it. Now the socks that Kipnis are wearing, you know, they're look like flesh tone colored. It's kind of a hard, soft pink he's got working there with those bright pink shoes.
Well, you know that soft pink goes with bright pink well.
It just, you know, everything's so bright pink. I was a little bit wondering maybe his socks faded, but it looks good. And now, you know, what he's doing to Volquez is not good. He just sit there just kind of fouling off every little pitch that comes in there. I call that some good defensive 2-strike hitting.
Now those are Eric Hosmer's shoes, so not just pink but a little floral pattern on them.
Absolutely love it. He fouled off another one. I love those shoes. They're beautiful. Oh yeah, tulips maybe, huh? Nice. Great touch. They should make the chalk lines in the down the lines and in the batter's box and everything pink lines. Maybe they'll do that next year. everything they can do to love on mom and raise awareness. New board they have here in Cleveland, by the way. Nice.
Down goes Kipnis, and Volquez has his first strikeout and first out of the game. Here are the Royals on defense today, presented by Ford. Same as yesterday, Gordon, Kane, Dyson in the outfield, Cuthbert at third, Escobar, Colon, Hosmer on the infield with Salvador Perez behind the plate.
Volquez likes to pitch to contact. Okay, that's part of his game. Likes to fill that lower half of the strike zone with pitches that are moving down. There's a beauty there. Better mix him up good against this young man here. He's been hot. He's finding the every field in this series.
Good pitch over the inside. And it's 0-2. Volquez has had trouble with the Indians in his career. He's made 7 starts, many of those with the Reds in interleague play, an 8.01 ERA. That's his highest career ERA against any opponent. And after the home run to Santana, he comes back to strike out Kipnis and Lindor. So it's just been a tough matchup for Volquez over the years.
Yeah, I like how he climbed the ladder on Lindor. Good setup. 3 pitches. He's got to go.
And now Michael Brantley, who started game 1 on Friday night and was not in the lineup yesterday. And as we're talking about how the Indians as a team have done very well against Volquez, when you start looking at individuals who have done well, Michael Brantley, he's faced Volquez 10 times and has reached base 8 out of those 10 times.
If you're Brantley, you come to the park, you know your numbers against him, but even if you didn't have good numbers, you'd still be saying, I'm going to get him anyway. And now I know I've gotten him before. He's in trouble. Good pitch there, man. Let's get some good action on that 2-seamer. Volquez has the stuff, and there's no doubt about it. Can he harness it and command it? That's the key. He'd like to have that pitch to Santana back.
Really likes his fastball in the first inning here. You know, he's 32 now, which doesn't sound old, but that's about the age where some pitchers can start to lose velocity. They're usually losing velocity. Doesn't mean they're less effective, but they just have to become more complete pitchers. But Volquez, in his 2 years with the Royals, his velocity has gone up. He's not able to field, but Colon is there to get Brantley. And Volquez recovers nicely after the Carlos Santana home run. 1-0 Cleveland. Home run from Carlos Santana yesterday was a first inning home run from Kendrys Morales, our most trusted player, brought to you by Honda. And that was one hit of 2 for Morales and 3 of his 4 RBIs on that home run. He added a single later in the game. And now he takes a strike from Josh Tomlin. We were having lunch today with Tom Hamilton, the longtime radio voice of the Cleveland Indians, and usually joins Joel and Monty on the pregame show at some point when we play the Indians. And he was here for a decade of dominant baseball, and the Indians, they hit home runs left and right. And Hammy told us at lunch today he's never seen a ball land on that concourse in right field on the fly. You know, a lot of those years Jim Thome was here. That's Lindor, the shortstop. Let's see where this ball lands. Did he quite get it to the concourse? He did. So that's saying something when all the great teams that have played here and all the power that they've had, that's the first one that's landed on the right field concourse on the fly.
I remember a couple of years ago, maybe, when Alex Gordon hit one off Trevor Bauer that I think took a bounce and went up in that concourse there, but we might have to look that up. I don't know.
Kendrys was at 442 feet.
He got it all.
And here is Alex. And continues to go the other way. That's well hit, but right at Brantley. So Alex lines to left, and they're 2 down in the second inning.
Well, that's the approach you got to have off of Tomlin. Tomlin, he likes those guys that are going to try to muscle up, and he tries to stay under their bats then. Early count strikes. Doesn't like to walk anyone. Coming in, he only had 2 walks in 23 innings pitched coming into this game here. He's a strike thrower.
Salvador Perez recognizing that Tomlin's getting a lot of outs with very few pitches, is taking all the way. And that makes it 1-1.
Yep. See as many as you can early. Salvi may not want to see too many. Looking at those numbers, he wants to jump on something.
A little bit inside, 2-1. Backhanded at third by Uribe, and that's on the money. 17 pitches for Tomlin to get through the first 2 innings.
Opportunity and letting my dreams come true, making this a reality. So it's just a special day, and it really is cool to see everybody
Loosening up before the bottom of the second inning on this Mother's Day. We head to New York after the game today, and one of the most memorable moments in Eric Hosmer's career happened at Yankee Stadium. That's where he hit his first major league home run, and there was that great shot of his mother, Ileana, who was videotaping the game, which is what she did when Eric was a kid. She'd take the video camera to the game and tape his at-bats in his games. They could go back and they could watch the games. And even though his son is in the major leagues and playing at Yankee Stadium, she figured her role hadn't changed. So there she was with the video camera. Now, he was new to the big leagues, Eric was. You know, we didn't have a chance to tell Ileana, you don't have to do that anymore. We can get you high definition from about 7 different angles if you need it.
Right.
And a lot closer than where you are. But that was just a wonderful moment for the Hosmer family and for the fans, just to see his mom and his dad and his brother just soaking in that moment.
That's fresh. Son's a big leaguer.
Dyson fades back in right field, and he'll take care of Mike Napoli, 1 down. So how about a Taminia Mazda game break? A.J. Burnett and a cleanly shaven Eric Hosmer into the second deck at Yankee Stadium.
I'm with you. Oh, I'm getting a little emotional with that. You know what? That's special.
Well, and it had some deeper meaning to it, too. Eric's father, Mike, was a Yankees fan. So that was one of the teams that Eric followed as a kid. And I'm sure his dad dreamed that he would hit a home run at Yankee Stadium. It didn't work out that way, but he got to watch his son do it. And that's where we head after the game today. Yan Gomes with the count, 1 ball and no strikes. That'll be 5 years ago on Wednesday. Where has the time gone? May of 2011. Yan Gomes batting average is plummeted down to 183. He is 0 for 6 in this series with the Royals.
One of the things I've noticed about him is he's awfully aggressive. He swings at every pitch nearly. Now he's 2-0 for the first time in the series. Look at that. That's ball 3.
Yeah, he should be 3-0 right now.
He's going to have to start seeing the ball better, seeing more pitches to kind of get into a groove. One thing to be aggressive, but when you're overly aggressive, you're going to get yourself out a lot.
Three balls and 1 strike. Fouled off of Salvi's mask. And when you're not going well, not only do you swing at pitches that aren't strikes, but when you get a somewhat hittable pitch, you don't square it up. That might be the best pitch he sees all day.
Let's hope he doesn't give him another one of those.
Outside, he walked him. Remember to get your copy of Dayton Moore's book, More Than a Season, now with 2 new chapters. The book explores the intersection of faith, family, and leadership, and the process of rebuilding the Royals into a championship team. 100% of the sales go to Dayton's charity, See You in the Major Leagues. It's available at the Royals Authentic store, as well as the Majestic Team store.
Taking care of family-based organizations. It's a beautiful charity.
Fouled away by Lonnie Chisenhall, who is starting in center field today. We thought it was a bit odd when he came into the game late yesterday into center field. Last year at this time he was playing third base, and then late in the season the Indians moved him to right field, and he really took to right field, and now he's playing some center field. That ball is just foul up the right field side. 0-2.
Well, that's good for him, and mainly good for him to have a good attitude when they ask him if he can play in different spots. Really what he's doing is increasing his value. It's a young man, would like to get 10 years in the majors, I'm sure, but hasn't been with any other teams, and now he the National League could be calling for him someday, as he could play all the outfield spots. That'd be really good for him.
Pitch in on his hands, and it's still 0-2.
If he can play third base, you can put him at short and at second for a spell too. You know, he's a good athlete, got hands, and in National League when they do double switches, you only have to play a couple innings on defense. He would be a good National League player. Pick up his pinch hitting skills. I'm sure he wants to still play every day, and that's every guy's goal, but it's be good for him later.
Ooh. Broken bat, and Colon makes the play for out number 2. When I say broken bat, I mean destroyed bat.
Nothing like a jam sandwich on Mother's Day.
Hey, Mom, can you make me a jam sandwich? I'm a little hungry.
He wasn't planning on it.
There you go.
There you go.
Two down to Marlon Byrd. .38-year-old Marlon Byrd. He played yesterday afternoon and was 0 for 3. Marlon Byrd was drafted by the Philadelphia Phillies 17 years ago. 1 ball and no strikes. Two years ago, he had 25 home runs for the first time in his career. 3rd oldest in Major League history at 37 to hit 25 home runs for the first time. Think about that. You have a long Major League career, and when you get to 25, which is becoming an impressive number again. There was an era where guys who hit 25 home runs were walking around in the parking lot. But to do it for the first time as a 37-year-old.
No, that's impressive. And what you'll see lots of times with guys that are blessed with a long career, their power numbers go up usually later in their career because they're able to recognize those pitches after so many years, which ones I can hit out, which ones I can't. And you'll see that sometimes. But Marlon Byrd, I remember being with the Phillies at the end of my career 17 years ago when he was the #1 pick. And people were all excited about Marlon Byrd, and you know he had a pretty good run there, but like you said, he's gotten better with other teams. And I love his hustle. He's always hustled to first base. You know, even now he's getting close to 40 and still understands the game and respects it.
And as you pointed out yesterday, he gets the extra points for style with his sunglasses.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Cuthbert, diving play to his feet. Good throw. And Byrd is out. Cheslor Cuthbert. And we talked about his defensive skills. He made some amazing plays for the Royals in spring training this year, and here's his first good one this year.
It's routine for him.
Deanna Duffy. She had as much of an impact on Danny's career as his father Dan. Patricia Kane raised Lorenzo since he was 4 years old all by himself. Leslie Gordon, we see her a lot at the ballpark. Wonderful woman, two-time cancer survivor. Ileana Hosmer, we talked about her, born in Cuba. Hilda Diaz, Salvador Perez's mother. And we can pass along some of those stories during today's game as Cheslor Cuthbert made a very nice play on a ground ball from Marlon Byrd in the bottom of the second. Now leads off the third and grounds it to third. Uribe got his feet tangled up and able to throw out Cheslor for the first out.
You know, it's not just as special as today is Mother's Day, but we know all of the Royals' mothers' names by their first name. These guys talk about their moms all the time, so I'm not really good with names, but gosh, I know almost all their moms' names.
Strike to Christian Colon. There's his mother Lucy. Big breaking ball makes it 1 ball, 2 strikes. Colon has 3 hits in the first 2 games of the series. He started at third the night that Mike Moustakas was in the lineup and then scratched. It was on Friday, and then yesterday at second base when Moustakas was placed on the disabled list. And we hope to visit with Mike Moustakas from the Royals dugout next half inning. I'm sure this is a tough day for him. This is his first ever Mother's Day without his mother, who passed away in the middle of the season last year, his mother Connie. Slider is in for a strike, and that's the first strikeout for Josh Tomlin.
Yeah, well, he saw the knee buckling curve. He stayed with him on it. It's a good pitch. The slider is more like a cutter. And that was it right there. It wasn't the big curveball, but he's got a changeup he mixes in as well. All 4 pitch mix. And he attacks the strike zone down.
Jarrod Dyson yesterday put an end to an 0 for 18. Driving in the Royals' 4th run in the 5th inning with a double. 2-0.
Jarrod Dyson gets a chance to play every day now, and with third baseman playing him right in here all the time, you know, he can get that bunt technique down to where he can drop some soft ones and then push some hard ones. As they come in that close, you can just use the velocity of the pitch and just kind of poke it by him and get a double on a bunt with his type of speed. He's got to really work on that. Come out early and practice that craft. It's not easy, but with his kind of speed, I think it would increase his value getting on base for the Royals if he would work that bunting game a little bit more.
Backhanded, and Napoli had it in his glove. We'll see how they rule that. He got the hard part out of the way, and that was fielding the ball. Maybe because of Dyson's speed, he rushed the transfer from glove hand to throwing hand.
You're exactly correct. And Jarrod hitting the top of the ball in between infielders is always a chance of a knock, and it would have been close at first base. That's why they pitch him up in the zone. It's a knock all the way. That's why they like him to fly the ball out.
So Escobar with 2 down and a man on. And he hits it out to Lindor at short. They'll go the short way. at second base to end the inning. We hope to hear from Mike Moustakas when we get back for the bottom of the third. Cleveland leads 1-0. On the ground, base hit center field. Mike Moustakas comes off the bench and ties it in the ninth inning. And if it isn't hard enough to pinch hit in a situation like that, how about doing it with a broken hand? Were you aware that your hand was broken when you had that at bat?
Yeah, it's just my thumb, but yeah, I knew it was broke. We got the X-rays in, and you know, I just tried to play through it, and it you know, was able to get a good pitch and, you know, put a good swing on that at bat.
I got to think that has got to be one of the funkiest injuries you've ever had, considering how hard you play and diving and getting hit by pitches and everything, because we've watched that replay a few times and it seemed pretty harmless.
Yeah, it definitely stinks that it happened like that. Like you said, you know, diving all over the place, getting hit, and, you know, I break my thumb by tagging somebody. It's pretty funny, but, you know, it's just kind of how it goes, and we just got to get better and find a way to get back on the field again.
Moose, the top hand, I like to share with our audience and people that are learning how baseball is performed. You know, the top hand takes off friction off when you don't square it up right. And did you feel that a few times the day after you played? Once you got back out there and took a few swings, did it bother you more when you swung the bat or when you caught a ball?
A little bit of both. You know, there are some days where I could swing, and then there are other days where I could catch. But you know, during the games, it was hard for me to put my glove on and take it off. And you know, after going through that for a couple of days, you know, it was kind of enough was enough. And like you said, top hand and hitting's a big deal. You know, that's where you get all the friction taken out of. And, you know, I got jammed a couple of times, and that didn't feel good at all.
Much has been said last year, as Uribe takes down and away, about you spraying the ball to all fields and all the base hits that you got to left field. Something that's really stood out for me this year is how many home runs you've hit to center field. Is that just part of the evolution of your swing the past 2 years?
Yeah, I'd say so. You know, I'm not trying to do anything different with my approach. I'm trying to stay as consistent with that as possible. You know, staying on it, going the other way. You know, trying to get my base hits to left field, and, you know, that's just kind of translating into you know, getting pitches out over the plate and hitting them out to center field, which is you know, which is always fun.
We're looking at, you can't see it now, but on the screen we're looking at your hits by direction. You have 9 to left, 8 to center, and 8 to right. That's pretty good.
Not too bad.
It makes it a little more difficult to pitch to.
Yeah, trying to get rid of that shift. You know.
Hey, I want to ask you about that shift, and I'm glad that I can ask you now and not before a game when you don't need a lot to have on your mind before a game. But it fascinates me how teams play you. Some teams still do the shift, some do a little bit of the shift, and some teams, you know, will play you straight up because they recognize that you're hitting the ball to all fields. Do you spend any time trying to figure out why they do what they do?
Not really. I just when I go for my first at bat, I look to see where everyone's gonna be at, and that'll pretty much determine how the series is gonna go. And you know, if everyone's shifting me over there, you know, I don't mind the shift anymore, just because I can get my free hits over on the left side of the field now. You know, I can hit those ground balls at the shortstop that are hits, and then I'll catch a couple balls out in front and, you know, hit them in the gaps. But it's kind of fun for me because I get to kind of play quarterback and see what the defense is in, and you know, kind of go from there.
And he was a pretty good high school quarterback.
I could tell a few years ago when I first got here, I used to play catch with him, you know, with his football and before the BP, and he had some nice zings and good Z's on that ball. Moose, does that help strengthen your arm when you throw that football?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do. You know, going out there playing catch with the football, kind of reliving the glory days back in the day. But that's actually something that me and you know, the trainers, KT, Nick, and Blum, we're gonna start doing that to make sure my arm stays in shape while I'm hurting, and then you know, kind of go from there.
Now, this is a bit off topic since we brought it up, but you broke your leg in high school, right? Or were
broke my ankle.
Your ankle. So would you have played your senior year in football, or were you just decide when you were a senior you're going to be baseball only?
I wanted to play. I wanted to come back and play. I broke it my first game of my junior year. And I wanted to come back and play football that next year, but I ended up not being able to, and just stuck with baseball, and ended up pretty good.
Moose, as a broadcaster, we spend a lot of time up here. We eat dinner with different scouts and different people and organizations, and I talked to a lot of scouts about you, and they tell me that you are the most improved major league player that they've seen in the last couple of years going into this year. Both sides of the ball, Moose.
Still got him. How about that? They practiced that play in spring training. It went through Escobar, but Colon was right there to back it up.
Moose, you guys practice those?
Not really. You know, usually when I make the error, Esky's there to back me up and make the play. So
somebody picked him up.
Yeah, it's I mean, all the times that we've picked, he's picked us up. Right. You know, somebody had to pick him up once.
Well, this is a good time for a replay while we have you, Moose. We got a little bit of time, but really, Moose, what a compliment. When I heard that, the scouts telling me you're the most improved player they've seen. I mean, you've already got some time in. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, not that hard to believe, though. You know, I struggled that one year when I hit 212 and got sent down, and you know, just being stubborn. You know, trying to still pull the ball, and you know, getting in the cage in spring training with Dale, and you know, trying to figure out an approach that'll work in the big leagues. It was tough, and you know, it's something I wanted to do because I love playing baseball. I love being a major leaguer, and you know, it's just something that had to be done. And I was pretty happy with the results, and pretty happy with the approach that me and Dale kind of figured out.
They're going to rule that Santana was safe. And now we'll wait on the scoring and see if they rule that a base hit or an error. Escobar did have a long way to go to get to that ball. And then there was that home run, Moose, in game one of the division series. And it's almost like that was wiping the slate clean on your career, because that was, you know, we talk about Salvi's base hit in the wild card game, but that changed the playoffs, I felt, for the team when you hit that home run in game one against the Angels.
Yeah, you know, that was a pretty cool moment for me, you know, to be back home and you know, do that in front of my friends and my family, and it was definitely a special moment and pretty cool deal. Thought he had him right there. Yeah, just it was cool, and you know, that playoffs kind of started off well, and was able to carry that throughout last year.
First of 5 home runs in the postseason for the Royals, a Royals record. This is Jason Kipnis taking a strike.
Moose, what's it all meant to you? The last 2 seasons, top of the mountain, and you can't go any further except for that one, you know, last inning there in 14. What's the experience been like for you?
It's been unbelievable. You know, you play this game to win a World Series, and you know, to have the opportunity in back-to-back years, it's pretty remarkable, especially with this group of guys that we have. you know, the guys we came up with in this organization, and being able to go to the World Series 2 times and actually win it the second time. I mean, it was unbelievable, and it just makes you want to get there again, get back into the postseason, and you know, get that feeling again, because the adrenaline's unbelievable when you're in the postseason.
Moose, how important was it you guys winning in AAA Omaha together?
I think it was important winning everywhere. You know, you build that confidence. You know, we won in low A, double A. We always had good teams coming up, but you know, we built that confidence, and you know, with this group of guys that we have coming up, we were able to find out ways to win with each other and find out how everybody works. And you know, it was definitely huge for us. And you know, you get a taste of winning, and that's all you really want.
I remember when you got called up. Can you believe it was 5 years ago?
No.
And all you talked about in the visiting dugout in Anaheim was just coming up and helping the team win a championship. When Eric Hosmer called up, he said the same thing. I've seen a lot of young guys come up through this organization over the years, and every single one of you guys, to a person, that's all you guys talked about when you got called up, is just coming here to win a world championship, and there you were last year.
Yeah, it was. That was our goal. You know, that was our goal when we got drafted. I remember talking to Haas after he got drafted, and you know, it's kind of the way Dayton, you know, taught us or told us. He said, we want to win a championship here in Kansas City, and you know, you guys are going to be the ones that are going to have to help, and you know, that's all we want to do. And you know, when you're playing this game, all you want to do is win. And getting to that postseason again, it's an unbelievable feeling, and winning a World Series, man, it's words can't really describe it.
Moose, every yard we go to, we hear Moose calls. That's got to make you feel good.
Yeah, I don't know if they're all Moose calls. Some of them might be boos.
No, how can they boo when you get a knock?
That's true. I think it's funny, you know, because a lot of people always come to the games and they don't really, you know what's going on when I'm coming up to bat, and everyone always asks, like, man, why do they always boo you when you come to the plate? I'm like, it's all good, man. I don't I can't decide between the two, or I don't know which one's which, so it's all good.
You know, I was thinking the same thing when we're on the road, and you know, let's say Indians fans hear the Moose call, and Cleveland fans probably just jump in and start booing, and then look to the guy next to him and say, now why are we booing this guy
Exactly.
again? Yeah.
That's exactly what happens.
Why don't we like Moustakas? Yeah. 3 balls and 1 strike on Lindor with Santana at first base and 2 down. And now he will take a walk. So, because you've been around for a while now, and I know you want to be on the field, but what kind of a role can you have in the dugout with your experience, and you got a young guy who's out there playing your position?
You know, just to do whatever the guys need. You know, I'll run and go get the coffee. I'll get the seeds. I'll do all that good stuff.
Service.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if guys want me to go check out some at bats or pitches or whatnot, I'll go run upstairs and, you know, check that. But you know, Chesler's going to be fine over there. He's an incredible player, and obviously you saw that diving play he made earlier. He's a special player, and he's going to be a real special player in the years to come too. And it's fun to go out, or fun to watch him play ball.
You guys have created such an identity that when somebody comes in from another organization or comes up from the minor leagues, you can identify right away, is this a Royals type of a guy or not? And he seems to be exactly what you guys are.
Oh, absolutely. You know, he plays the game hard. He has fun. You know, he's more of a quiet kid, but you know, he plays the game hard and he has fun, and that's pretty much what we're about over here. We like to go out and, you know, have some fun and, you know, win some ball games and do whatever we can, but it's always fun. You know, we get to play Major League Baseball, and it's a real dream come true.
There was that play that he made to end the bottom of the second inning against Marlon Byrd. 1-1 from Volquez to Michael Brantley. And now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Moose, you had to know defending the World Championship flag is a little different than the American League Championship flag from last year. And the Central here beefed up a little bit. It's going to be a battle. And what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. You know, when you have that patch on your shoulder, it says World Series champions. You know, it's like a target. Everyone everyone's coming to get you every single game, and you know it's awesome. But at the end of the day, last year's over with, and this is a new year, so we got to go out there and find a way to get back to the postseason. It's not going to be easy. A lot of great teams in the Central, and throughout all of baseball. So it's definitely going to be a tough task, but we got a great team, great group of guys, and just got to go out there and keep doing what we're doing.
And we brought that up too. You guys haven't hit your stride yet, but you're getting the best effort and concentration from every team you play because you guys are the measuring stick now.
Yeah. And in Major League Baseball, and it's not which team is the best. It's the team that plays the best that day. Come on, Lolo.
And he's there. Well, hey, thanks for your time, and we certainly don't want to avoid the obvious today on Mother's Day. We're really thinking about you and your family, and really appreciate all the time you spent with us.
I appreciate that, guys.
Thanks,
and,
Moose.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Okay. All right. Mike Moustakas joining us for a long bottom of the third inning, but the Indians are scoreless. Up here in the top of the fourth inning against Josh Tomlin, who has allowed 2 singles, and that's it. He has faced only 1 past the minimum in the first 3 innings. Lorenzo Cain singled off the wall in left field in the first inning, and then trying to stretch it into his first double was thrown out by Michael Brantley. We showed you a picture an inning or so ago of many of the players with their mothers, and Lorenzo Cain with his mother Patricia. Lorenzo lost his dad when he was just 4 years old, and Patricia raised Lorenzo and his brother Delvin all by herself. And we have a special thanks to Patricia, which relates to all of us in Kansas City. You see, Lorenzo in high school wanted to play football, and his mom would not allow him to play football. So he went out for basketball. He did not make the basketball team. So we thank his coach for that. There's his first double. If Michael Brantley throws out Cain here, he will have to submit a specimen for immediate testing. So there it is, double number 1. So we thank his mom for not allowing him to play football. We thank his high school basketball coach for cutting him, because in a desperate move to be on some sort of a team, he went out for baseball. And here he is.
Yeah, I love it. Worked himself a great hitting count, 3-1, got him that pitch to hit, and he stayed on it, kept it fair. That'll make us look good, Cain. Make yourself look good. Now let's see if Haas can move him over and in somehow, some way. You're not going to ask Haas to try to pull the ball because he's so dangerous in the opposite field, but he can find a way.
Here at grounded out to short in the first inning. And we got to see a picture of Mike and his mom Ileana, who was born in Cuba and came to the United States at age 7. No balls and 2 strikes on the field at Citi Field after Game 5 of the World Series.
After they planted the World Championship flag right there in their yard.
And shortly before they turned the lights out on us.
Did they?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and 2 on Hosmer. We remind you, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. One of the great gestures that's been mostly overlooked. When the Giants beat the Royals at Kauffman Stadium in 2014, the Royals turned the fountains orange and let the Giants stay on the field as long as they wanted to celebrate.
Class.
In New York, just as we were getting the celebration going and the hugs and the interviews, the lights started going out and everyone was escorted off the field.
Not so classy.
No.
Haas just missed that high fastball, tried to Tommy Hawk it. See if he'll shorten up his swing and just try to put it out there. A ground ball to the shortstop would be perfect.
Tried to get him to go a little bit higher. 1 and 2.
Lindor over there playing behind second base. That's an inviting spot, but you know, for Haas, and he'll go line to line. Wants to try to stay away from big swings here because, like I said earlier, Tomlin, he loves those guys that go up there swinging hard.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
This little cutter, he hasn't seen the big curve yet from Tomlin.
And the count goes full after falling behind 0-2. Kendrys Morales will be next.
Sure helps when you know you have a good hitter behind you.
Blasted into right center field. Happy Mother's Day, Ileana. That is a 2-run home run for Eric Hosmer to give the Royals the lead.
Woo-hoo. That's the one he waited for, folks. When you spit on those outside pitches and let those pitches go that the pitcher wants you to swing at and you wait for yours, good things happen. That's beautiful at bat. Haas connects big time for his 5th homer on the young season.
Still nobody out. And now Morales gets that big curveball, and it's in for strike 1. 438 feet. For Eric Hosmer's 5th home run.
Beautiful stroke, Haas. He's just barreled it right in the middle of the ballpark. You know, I thought that curveball would have been a better pitch to show him right there. You know, 3-2 count, surprise him a little bit, maybe get him to swing over the top or underneath it, but he went with something that just stayed out over the plate.
Hit it too hard, and Brantley comes up to take care of Morales. 1 down in the 4th.
4. Didn't that look like a golf swing right there? That was nice. Look at that. Barely even picked up his foot. Sometimes we see Haas lift that foot up and set it down, but he barely picked it up at all. Tells me he's locked in. That's as perfect a swing as you'll see from that young man.
I've told this story many times, and it's timely because we're here in Cleveland. You know, these guys are so strong now that sometimes a lot of leg and arm movement is just wasted motion. They don't have to generate as much. There's a base hit for Alex Gordon, who is also lined out. So Alex has had a good day at the plate. And with that base hit, Alex is now hit in 5 straight games and 6 of his last 7. But it was here in 1999. We were here in Cleveland. Lamar Johnson was the hitting coach for the Royals. And Mike Sweeney was having his first full major league season. And he was having a great deal of success with 2 strikes because Michael would widen out his stance for better balance and would just kind of shorten his swing. But he wasn't losing any power. He was still hitting home runs. He was still hitting doubles. And that's when Lamar Johnson said to Mike, well, why don't you just hit all the time? You're at your best in your 2-strike approach. You're not losing any power. And so that's what he did. And then 5 All-Star games later, you know, that was one of the points in his career. But I bring that up because guys throw so hard now. Hitters are so strong that they don't need to wind up at the plate like they used to.
I agree. But you see more and more hitters use that flamingo leg lift. The importance and the key to that is to be able to get that foot down and time the ball right. Now watch Haas's foot here. See, he just goes on the toe, a little toe tapper right there. He went right to the toe. See that? He sits right there. Oh, that's nice. Everything is, the head doesn't move or anything. Keeps his body in control by not striding out too far. Ooh.
And that's well hit.
Crushed.
And that'll be over Chisenhall's head. Alex will be waved home. Salvador Perez has a double. The Royals have 2 doubles, a home run and a single in a 3-run 4th inning, and now a 2-run lead.
And I could tell when Salvi took the first pitch by Tomlin, cutter on the outer half and down, hoping Salvi would swing at it like he likes to do. And then he looked so comfortable and he waited just like Haas. Now there's a little flamingo kick loading up the hips and the nice turn with the midsection, you know, your core. Lower half really does help you drive that ball. We're seeing some good swings here in this inning. Positive sign heading into New York, where the Royals know the Yankees will be tough there. They always are on them. Get those swings down. Nice, short and quick, compact, and just keep passing that baton. A little frenzy hitting.
And speaking of lower half, we were talking about Cuthbert yesterday. Here's a guy that really uses his legs, big strong legs with his swing. You brought up a good comparison, comparing him to Adrian Beltre, who really uses his legs, and sometimes with his follow through will be down on a knee. He gets so low.
You don't see a lot of hitters do that. Back leg, you know, it lowers you down a little bit, lowers your swing so you can get to that low pitch.
Low and out of the strike zone. So on 3 pitches, Tomlin strikes out Cuthbert. And that's Tomlin's 2nd strikeout.
Slowly but surely, the average with runners in scoring position starting to pick up a little bit. Cologne on the season's 1 for 6. Situation like this.
The slow curve, 75 miles an hour, 0-1 to Cologne. He took a called 3rd strike in his first at bat. Perez is at second base with 2 down. Laid off the pitch that time. 1-1.
Marlon Byrd in right field has a good arm. He's got 3 assists already this season. Chisenhall in center has 1, probably from right field. Brantley got his first assist today when he threw out Lorenzo Cain. Good arm.
Chisenhall is back. And that's the inning, but a productive inning. The Royals come up with 3 runs on 4 hits, 3 extra base hits. Eric Hosmer provided 2 with his 5th home run of the year.
Fortunate to have such a great family, and you know, speaking from a mother, just everything you can ask for in a mom. She, you know, I text her every time, thanking her for the opportunity and letting my dreams come true, making this a reality. So it's just a special day, and it really is, you know, cool to see everybody wearing pink, kind of representing their mothers for that day. And you know, I saw something Gordo said yesterday that, you know, it's not about the, you know, gifts or flowers, sending them, just kind of talking and catching up means the most. And you know, I agree with him 100%.
Comments from Eric Hosmer about his mom, Ileana, and Joel Goldberg back down here by Eric Hosmer in the infield at first base. And we know all about the Hosmer family, and for Eric, so close with his mom, Ileana, his brother, Mike, and his dad, Mike. And, you know, one of the really great things, I think, guys, that was passed on to Eric because of his mom's Cuban heritage that you mentioned before, is that he has this incredible ability to relate and talk with everybody in the clubhouse, regardless of language. And he speaks a little bit of Spanish, but he just has this great connection with everybody, and it's what makes him one of the leaders of this team. And how about homering for his mom, Ileana, here on Mother's Day?
With a bat that had her name on it.
Gotta love that.
Yeah, I agree with Joel, and I don't, by no means am I, you know, diminishing anyone else's leadership. There are so many leaders on this team, but I think Eric is becoming the guy because of what Joel just described. He breaks down language barriers. He breaks down cultural barriers. He's becoming the go-to guy in the clubhouse, especially during the bad times. I'll never forget with Joel after the game in Chicago last year with the bench clearing incident that Hosmer was the first one to say, yeah, we're brothers, we've got each other's back, but this has to stop. We need to control ourselves a little bit better here. And so he is. There are, you know, emotional leaders like Salvador Perez. There are leaders by example like Alex Gordon. There are Mike Moustakas, another emotional leader. But Eric Hosmer brings a lot to the party.
Sure does. You know, and every team has their certain leaders, but no team that I've outside of the Giants have been recently back-to-back. That's not going to come back.
So the second home run allowed by Volquez. Mike Napoli hits his 6th, and the Royals lead is 1. It's been a good pickup for the Indians for the first 5 weeks of the season.
Without a doubt. This guy, he takes care of himself. He's in good physical shape. He's strong, and there's the high fastball. Talked about how that's where you can get him out. Well, he's made some adjustments. He knows they're trying to get him out there, and he top hand that one. In order to hit the ball out like that, you've got to roll that top hand on contact just so you can get that backspin on it.
And now breaking ball to Yan Gomes is in for a strike. And Napoli has also hit very well here. His numbers are much better in Cleveland. He has hit 4 of his 6 home runs here. And he's driven in 16 of his runs here in Cleveland. (16 of his 20 runs driven in here in Cleveland. Almost nailed by Volquez.
A changeup. Got away from him. Volpe likes to dip that down and into righties. Just missed with a command there. Anyways, I was saying before, Ryan, a lot of the other teams, they all have their leaders that emerge, but none have really done what the Royals have done the last few seasons here. So they're starting to establish themselves as their identities amongst each other in the clubhouse.
Dyson has a long run in, looking up into the sun, and he's there for the out. Come on out to Kauffman Stadium May 14th and 15th for Major League Baseball's first annual Play Ball weekend. Proudly supported by Chevrolet and Scotts. MLB celebrates all forms of youth baseball and softball, from organized league games to playing catch. So be part of something great. Let's play ball. One down to Lonnie Chisenhall. Volquez had only allowed 2 home runs in his first 37 1/3 innings. And now 2 home runs, both solo, and 3 1/3.
Both high fastballs.
Good movement. That'll be out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Line to right field. Dyson thought about it and then had to block it to keep Chisenhall at first base. All right, you ready for some trivia?
Let's bring it on.
Our sprint trivia question for today. George Brett had 2 200 hit seasons. Name the other 5 Royals with 200 hit seasons. Johnny Damon.
Well, Beltran, or excuse me, Beltran.
Carlos Beltran. I think Carlos Beltran had a 200 hit season. No, we're getting someone in our booth is shaking his head. Broken bat. Alex Gordon gets to it. Chisenhall knows about his arm, so he'll hold at second base. Marlon Byrd is 1 for 2. Well, how about a guy we were just talking about, Mike Sweeney? Put Mike Sweeney down.
There you go.
How many others?
How about Seitzer?
There you go. Good one. Yep, Kevin Seitzer, his rookie year.
Wow. Go ahead.
If not for Mark McGuire's 1987 season, Kevin Seitzer would probably been rookie of the year that year. So we have Damon, Sweeney, Seitzer. 2 more. Willie Wilson. Willie Wilson had a year he had 100 hits on each side of the plate.
Really? Talk about skills. Let's see if Volke can induce a ground ball double play.
There's the ground ball, and Cuthbert didn't quite get the grip that he wanted, so he takes the sure out to get Uribe. And on the play, the Indians get Chisenhall to third and Bird up to second. Jose Offerman have a 200-hit season? No. Carlos Santana, an unlikely leadoff man in a traditional sense, has led off in 10 of the last 13 games, and he did this in the bottom of the first against Volquez.
Solo shots, they don't hurt you. It's the homers with runners on, and this is not the right time. You're going to have to pitch him carefully.
Heck of a swing, which you could say about every single Carlos Santana swing.
He was looking to ambush there. Good thing that was high and tight.
One ball, one strike. Santana's also reached on an error by Escobar at short, which was first ruled an out, and the Indians used their challenge to have the call overturned. Royals just scored 3 in the top half of this inning for a 3-1 lead. The Indians have gotten one back, and they have runners at second and third with 2 down. Volquez jumps ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. What about Amos Otis? No? Two and two. Joe Randa. No.
Way to go. We'll get him.
We only need one more. Johnny Damon, we assume. Johnny Damon, Mike Sweeney, Kevin Seitzer, Willie Wilson. I'm confident with those 4.
Santana, he's got a great eye. He's going to have to make a pitch on him.
Three and two.
Big point in the game right here for Volquez. Fans starting to get into it here. They feel like they can get something going. Volke, first base open. Maybe he wants to handle Kipnis. I don't
know. So I'll be turning back to Oakland umpire Quinn Wolcott, who's making sure it's a 3-ball 2-strike count. So do they want to go after Santana here or Kipnis, who's on deck? Well, Kipnis has struck out twice.
Sure, that's what they talked about.
Stockton. So it will be Kipnis with the bases loaded and 2 down. As Volquez walks his second. And now it'll be Dave Island out of the Royals' first base dugout. Jogging out there, which Dave normally does, but with the new rules, 30 seconds after a coach is on the field, conversation has to come to a conclusion. And with 7 seconds left on the clock, Dave Island heads back to the dugout.
Nice timing.
Good clock management.
Totally agree. All right. Volquez has had his way with Kipnis today, but overall, he's got some good numbers against Volquez. Does Kipnis.
Both strikeouts today have been with the fastball. Flipped a curve and it's high. Home runs for the Indians today are the only 2 in this series. Last year, the Cleveland Indians hit 23 home runs against the Royals. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, looks like Edison might be trying to be a little too fine here with these last 2 hitters. Looks like he might be guiding it in there. 2-0. Have to be careful, but just go ahead and throw it. Stay behind it. Have some conviction with it.
On the ground, Colon from a knee in time. Yeah. Christian Colon. Oh, they're going to say Hosmer came off the bag. Hosmer looks into the dugout. So for now, a run is in, and the game is tied. And Ned Yost immediately says they want to take another look. First base umpire is Mark Carlson. Got it. Yep.
He had to regroup. You don't see Haas do that very often because he's always knows exactly where that base is. And that play there, he went to the base without looking at the base. And he just kind of felt for it there. And it looked like to me he got it on the second time he tried to touch.
And of course, the angles that we've shown you are not the same that Mark Carlson gets to see. Yeah, he's making contact. But see, Carlson, where he's standing, he can't see the back of Eric's foot. And as he tries to get into position, he really puts himself in a worse position because he's even more screened by Hosmer's body.
You're exactly right. He couldn't see that. All he saw was Haas go back to the bag the second time, and that tells the umpire that he missed it the first time. But thank goodness Haas didn't just try to. Yeah, he's out. Believe it.
So, as our blood pressure steadies, the inning is over. It's all or nothing here on Home Run Derby.
That's right. I got a feeling that the Royals aren't done. But Santana to lead the game off. He'll take that high fastball into the seats, and Haas says, you know what, I got one better. Dead center, beat that one. Napoli says, all right, if you're going to try the high cheese on me, I'll get the top hand on it, and he did.
Dyson bunts. And Tomlin, my goodness, what's he doing catching that ball? That is Yan Gomes' play all the way. He should be fined, if not released. Wow, a pitcher caught a pop-up. Can you believe that?
Sure.
A grown man who's a professional athlete can actually catch a pop-up.
Right to him.
And now Escobar, 0 for 2. Now Escobar came up in the 3rd inning. Dyson had just reached with an infield single, and Escobar swung at the first pitch and grounded out to short. And you wonder if he could do that again if he wouldn't have taken a pitch or two and allowed Dyson to try and steal second base and get into scoring position. You got to be really sure, don't you, when you've got 2 outs and a base stealing threat at first base, if you're going to swing at the first pitch, that has got to be your pitch and a pitch you can do something with.
I agree. I would like to see him compete a little bit more in that at bat there. Give Dyson a couple of pitches to rip off second and then drive him in. We saw some excellent at-bats that last inning by the Royals. We saw some really nice swings. Guys working the count, working Tomlin, making him come up with a pitch down the middle, and they didn't miss it.
Royals need a base runner to get Hosmer to the plate. Fouled away, 2-2. Escobar has hit in 6 straight coming into today. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. So let's think of the Royals that are starting to swing the bat well now. Escobar, Kane, Morales, Gordon. Salvador Perez have been slumping lately. He has an RBI double today. Uribe handles a 2-hopper. 2 down.
Check out those swings from that last inning. Lorenzo Cain starts it off, worked a 3-2 count, saw some pretty tough pitches. Actually, that was a 3-1 count. Haas 3-2. Dead center. Alex, look at that. He's controlling his body, staying in on it, and keeping his hands inside the ball. And Salvi just raked it. Those are all beautiful swings.
Lorenzo has a single and a double in his first 2 at-bats. So that's 6 multi-hit games in his last 9. Chisenhall is back, still back, and makes a play before bumping into the wall. So another good swing for Lorenzo Cain. Royals are down in order in the top of the 5th.
Joined the team here on Friday, being called up and making his Royals debut, and Mother's Day for him. Had a chance to share this picture. There's the young little cowboy, Brian Flynn, with his mom, Michelle, probably back home in Oklahoma. And in the case of Brian, extra special to wish his mother a happy Mother's Day, because he said that his father passed away when he was 8, and so Mom Michelle really played the role of mom and dad.
My mom was my hero growing up, still is. You know, my mom was everything to me. We did the whole baseball thing together. Since my father passed when I was young, my mom was my mother and my dad. You know, she was the baseball dad too.
And Brian obviously thrilled to be up here in the big leagues, back in the big leagues. He was up a couple of times with the Florida Marlins, traded over for Aaron Crow, but really special for him. You know, you're happy to be able to wear a big league uniform no matter what, but he is in a place in Kansas City now when he gets back that is closer to his family than anywhere in Major League Baseball. So he's expecting a lot of visits and really excited that everyone back at home in Oklahoma, including his mom, gets the chance to watch.
Oh, you better believe it, Joel. It's very special, and it doesn't last long. You wish you had more time, but it certainly flies by. So enjoy the family while you can, and keep going out there and dazzling for Ned Yost, and you'll stay here a long time.
They're working on the mound for Edinson Volquez. So we're going to show you some shots of our crew members' mothers. Can we pause on this one for just a moment? That's a great picture of Joel's mom.
I think I wanted to be Harry Carey.
Look at the glasses.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. 13
Wow.
years old last time I danced.
I guess, is that your bar mitzvah?
I think so.
Okay,
Joel,
now
did you
I'm
get?
glad you grew into those teeth.
Yeah. Did you get a free bowl of soup with that haircut, by the way?
Oh, yeah. That haircut went till about maybe 16, maybe. Then I had a little mullet thing going like Jim McMahon.
Wow. Mary Montgomery. Monty looks the same. How about Dave Holtzman and Mom Sarah?
Unbelievable.
That's what Holtzy looks like with hair, in case anyone is wondering. Sharon Mooney, that's the mother of Joe Vencius, our producer. Brian Shapiro's mother and grandmother, who live here in Ohio. Rex's mom, Ann Mueller.
I miss Annie.
And that's me and my mom.
There you go.
Yep.
Good looking picture.
And Steve Kurtenbach and his wife Erin.
Look at that shot.
And baby Emmy.
Emmy's happy.
Who Emmy has an aunt who she's older than. How about that?
Wow.
What? That's an interesting fact to me. I'm just hearing about it from everyone in the crew.
Which makes her Auntie M, right?
Oh, excuse me. Let me take that back. Emmy is an aunt.
Yeah,
so she has a nephew who is older than she is. Thank you. Wow, sorry about that. What was that, Joel? I'm sorry.
She's Auntie M.
Auntie M. That's right. What did I say? Were you listening then?
I was, but
Okay.
I couldn't quite understand. I don't know the family that well, so I stayed out of that one.
Okay. So we thank Volquez demanding to have the mound fixed so that we could share those pictures with you. You got to give credit to Joel for turning that picture in.
Really?
Because I saw another picture of Joel and his mom, which was a lot better for him.
He opened up himself right there.
Shows a lot about his self-esteem that he's
That's right.
willing to show that picture. Lindor on for the second time, and that's his 6th hit of the series. So yeah, that's a good picture of both of them. Joel is originally from Philadelphia, and then I mean that's like a different kid.
Yeah.
Wow. You still have those glasses, Joel?
No, I'm not wearing them today.
Yes.
I think that what happened was I was out to dinner with Tito Shapiro. Did you guys wish him a happy birthday today, by the way?
No, we didn't.
Brian Tito Shapiro, 30 today.
Yep.
Steve Kurtenbach, 56 yesterday. So we got the birthdays going, but I got the pictures last night because Tito was asking for pictures. I made the mistake of opening it up while I was sitting there with him, and so I felt like I couldn't really back out.
Yeah.
Love those teenage years.
Put Brantley in the lane. Roll him up. Give them another inning to get something going here. Stop this right away. Volquez has good pitches for that double play ball. He's induced a couple already this year. Brantley stays inside of the ball. There's no telling where he'll hit it.
Lindor runs, and it's fouled away, and Lindor had a very good jump. So that's a break there that Brantley fouled it away. Brantley, we showed you in the first inning, in his first 10 plate appearances against Volquez, he reached 8 times. But today, he is grounded to second and flied to center, and he is now hitless in his last 18 at-bats against the Royals. So they spent a little extra time on him based on his past numbers. He has very good career numbers against the Royals.
Salvi's only thrown out 52.6% of runners this year. That mark stands alone. By the way, it's excellent.
Lindor runs again. Not a strike, and the throw was high. I don't think he got the same jump as he did a couple of pitches ago, but that was a rare throw that wasn't right on the money from Salvador Perez.
Yep. Makes him 5 out of 6 in steals this year. Salvi gets him if he puts the ball on the bag. Of course, that's a perfect throw he's got to make. And you hope your pitcher gets that ball home quickly for you. So that's a big steal with nobody out. Brantley knows what to do, at least try to. 1 and 2. Like to try to pull him over.
That'll be out of play. 2 and 2. Left center field, and that'll tie the game. So Brantley gets another hit against Edinson Volquez. He gets Lindor to the plate, and it's 3-3 in the bottom of the 5th.
Hard to keep that hitter down for very long. Royals did a nice job, but there's a mistake there. Short, quick with his hands. Just tried to do that. Wanted to just put the ball in play. Excellent control on that swing.
And here's Mike Napoli, who hit an impressive home run to left field his last time up. No balls and 1 strike. Danny Duffy throws in the Royals bullpen. Volquez is at 96 pitches.
Brantley looked like he wanted to go early. That last pitch.
Breaking ball is outside. 1-1. Napoli had a down year last year with the Red Sox, batting just .224. 2 off seasons ago, he had surgery. He had some facial reconstruction. He had been suffering from sleep apnea, so that he could breathe better, he could sleep better, and he didn't get the results that he was hoping for last year, and then found out that sometimes it takes 12 to 18 months to totally heal. Looks like he's dropped some weight from last year.
It's in great shape.
And now 3-1. So he pitched number 100, so it may be Volquez last. He still hit 18 home runs, but hit 224 and only drove in 50. He already has 6 home runs and 20 RBIs this year. And it's only May the 8th. Ball 4. So the first 3 have reached against Volquez. That's Edenson's 3rd walk. And now we'll see what Ned Yost does with 2 on and nobody out, and Yan Gomes coming up. After Gomes is left-hand hitting Lonnie Chisenhall, so it appears that Ned's going to leave him in there against one more right-hand batter.
Maybe he can get Gomes into that double play ball. Hadn't rolled one yet today.
Make that 4 walks for Volquez today. There's a ground ball. It gets by Volquez out at second, which was a bit of a risky play, but they keep the double play in order. Brantley goes to third.
Again, Gomes first pitch hacking like he has the whole series. That ball got in on his hands, broke his bat. And you know, Edinson Volquez snapped a few Indians bats today for sure. Some of them have died heroes, and others almost was a double play ball there, but wasn't quite hit hard enough.
Ned Yost chatting with Dave Island. So he has Duffy ready to go. Duffy's standing on the mound, ready for the call. Volquez is at 101 pitches, and he's going to stay in there to face Chisenhall.
Ned's telling Dave Island right now, Volquez hasn't induced a ground ball double play all day. He's going to right here.
Curveball called a strike. Chisenhall didn't love the call.
Yeah, and that ball goes a long way if you barrel it. The ball elevated like that. It looked like it might have caught the top of the zone.
It did, according to Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. Chisenhall is singled to right and popped out to second. Changeup is outside, 1-1. Four out of 8. That includes 1 for 2 today. Chisenhall against Volquez. Fastball by him at 91. 1-2. In the air to shallow right field, and it's down for a base hit. So he didn't hit it hard, but the pitch was up. Chisenhall drives in Brantley, and the Indians lead for the second time today.
Gets the ball down, it's a different story, but that's spelled high in another hanger. He's not going to miss it.
In 5 pitches. Marlon Byrd is coming to the plate, and Danny Duffy will be a Chevy call to the bullpen. Ball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. Edinson Volquez goes just 4 1/3 innings after going 7 2/3 in his start on Monday against Washington. And now Danny Duffy's becoming accustomed to coming on in the middle of an inning. During the last road trip on Sunday, a week ago today, Danny came on in the middle of the bases loaded and nobody out. And then 3 days later, the same thing against Washington. Today he comes on with runners at first and second and 1 down and pitches to Marlon Byrd, who is 1 for 2. That's Gomes at second base, Chisenhall at first.
Now Duffy has that great power fastball, 95 to 98. But at 37 years old, Juan Uribe, he still can get to that. Excuse me, Marlon Byrd. Similar age.
You got the age right.
Right.
And they're back-to-back in the lineup today.
That's right. Well, either one of them. Look, don't let their age fool you.
One ball, 1 strike.
Fastball, slurvy breaking ball, and a changeup he'll use.
Slide step. So a little quicker to the plate with his delivery, and then a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Marlon Byrd does have a couple of at-bats against Duffy, and he's 1 for 2. Stayed with the pitch, and that's well hit to right field. Dyson is back, and it's over his head and over the wall. And that may have saved the Royals a run. So it's 5-3. Chisenhall, who has enough speed to score from first base, may have done so if that ball doesn't bounce over the wall. He has to stay at third, and Marlon Byrd got a fastball and drives in Gomes to give the Indians a 2-run lead.
That's what I'm saying. Look, the ball's down the middle on the outer half, and he's short to the ball. And watching him now swing in batting practice, the 38-year-old Byrd uses that whole side of that field now. He's not trying to no longer pull, and that's exactly what he's been working on.
And now Uribe, who will swing at just about anything.
He's a hacker.
I remember early in his career, Clint Hurdle, who was managing the Rockies at the time, he had a great line about Uribe. He said, until Juan allows the pitcher to let go of the ball before taking a swing, he's going to struggle. No balls and 2 strikes. Now that was a long time ago, and Uribe's had a good career. You mentioned all the postseason experience that he had, but yeah, that was a quote I never forgot.
That's a beautiful thing. He's hacking.
Up the middle, Escobar. He's going to come to the plate and out. Escobar to Salvador Perez to get Lonnie Chisenhall for the 2nd out.
Never pleasant to slide on a baseball bat. They didn't have time to move it out of the way. Chisenhall. Look where that bat is. Look at that bat sitting right. Oh yeah,
right on the knob.
Yeah, right. That's good. Great throw though. Look at Escobar. You got to have it on that third base side of the plate. cut him down.
So 1st and 3rd, and 2 down to Santana, who bats right-handed for the first time, and that's a little bit high, ball 1. Santana led off the bottom of the 1st with a home run. He has also reached on an error and walked. Changeup is outside, 2-0.
Salvi liked the location of that changeup. That's where he wants to put it on the righties. Doesn't throw that pitch all that much, but it helps get the hitters off that fastball when he shows it.
Coming back our way and just below.
Oh man, he had a rip.
I think Jim Rosenhaus is ripping on you over there on the Indians radio network. He was looking right at you as he was describing that foul ball.
The ball was out of reach.
Popped up. Tough play with the sun. Hosmer didn't see it right away, but he recovers, and then it pops out of his glove. So he didn't see it, then he did see it, and it didn't stick in the webbing.
Well, that's too bad for Haas, because official score is going to give him his first error of the season on this. Hit the palm, that's the dead spot in the glove, and then usually with a big glove like that you can squeeze the fingers, it'll keep it from falling out, but it just couldn't close in time. Too bad.
So Santana is still up there, 2 balls, 2 strikes. On the ground to Cuthbert, and Chesler over to Hosmer, so it only cost Duffy 1 more pitch. The Indians get 3. The Royals led when the inning began, and now Cleveland leads 5-3. Eric Hosmer will lead off. And our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Robert Harrell from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Robert wins $1,200. If the Royals hit a grand slam, Robert wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. Well, Robert, you have the right guy up to lead off the 6th inning. as Hosmer takes outside. Eric Hosmer, in his last at bat in the 4th inning, took Josh Tomlin deep in a great at bat, where he was down 0-2 at one point. He got the count to 3-2, and now he lifts it to center field. Chisenhall started back, and now comes up to make the play. Here it is, our Ram drive of the game.
Home run for Mom. Ileana. There you go. 5th homer.
So that's the longest by a Royal, according to StatCast. 447 feet. And now 0-1 to Kendrys Morales. 0 for 2 with a ground out to short. And a line out to left field. And now 0-2. It's Sundays, so we visit with Denny Matthews, who's got a really nice sport coat on today.
You like the look of that?
Yeah, I do.
It's similar to the one you had on
Yeah,
to do
you
the
know,
Open.
I think almost identical, to be honest with you.
It's a good thing we're the same size.
Kipnis will throw out Kendrys, and there are 2 down. Yeah. Didn't have my mind in the right place when I was packing last night. Packed away all of my sport coats.
Yeah.
And so when I got dressed today and already set my luggage down, no sport coat, but Denny gets his first save of the year by allowing me to use his sport coat in our opening segment.
You recovered with a beautiful tie.
Thank you. Thank you. And now Alex. Alex goes the other way, and that ball will be foul. Alex singled and scored in the 3-run 4th inning.
This is a big moment for me because you two guys, neither one of you have a sport coat on, and I do. Normally you guys are all tied up and have your sport coats out.
How about it?
I come in with jeans and old golf shirt of some kind.
You even have a collared button down shirt?
Yeah.
You look nice.
Thank you. I try. Do my best.
Well, we're seeing some bats heading in the right direction. Denny Escobar, he doesn't have a hit today, but he's had a nice stretch. Kane, Gordon, Perez, and no coincidence that they're starting to use the middle of the field. Fouled away by Alex, 1-2.
Yeah, good tough at bats, making it difficult for the pitcher. That's what experience does. Younger guys would have a tendency maybe to panic a little bit if they're hitting 222 and just trying to rip away at everything. But the more experienced guy understands that there's a lot of room out there to put the ball in play.
And right after the Indians give Tomlin 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th, he comes back in the 6th and gets the Royals in order. nice to be out kayaking on the river with short sleeves on, but good for him. Here's our sprint trivia question for today. As you know, Denny, George had a pair of 200 hit seasons in his Royals career. There were 5 other Royals who had 200 hit seasons. Danny Duffy stays on for the bottom of the 6th inning and pitches to Jason Kipnis and misses inside for ball 1.
We think we might have them all, Denny.
I think you do. I think you guys are all over this one.
Who were the names that popped into your mind?
Willie Wilson.
Yep. That's my favorite, I think, because he had 100 hits on each side of the plate, which is remarkable.
Yeah, it is.
That's hard.
Especially for a guy who did not learn to switch hit until he was a professional. Can you imagine trying to learn how to pinch hit after you've signed professionally, even in the low minors? Wow. But he also had a ton of at bats one year, well over 700, wasn't it? You and I looked that up one day, Ryan. Mike Sweeney.
There you go, Mike Sweeney.
How about Damon?
Johnny Damon, that's on our list. Kipnis is 0 for 3, and that includes a ground out to end the 4th inning with the bases loaded. He's behind Duffy, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Who else you got?
Well, we had Kevin Seitzer.
Yeah.
And I think that was his rookie year, right? When he had that big year with all the hits. And then here's one. I got a bit of a hint. First, the 1-2 pitch. And that slash foul. I asked Dave Holtzman, who's here in the booth. And I said, okay, did I see the one that we're missing? He said, yeah, it's the most recent one. Wow. And then I think Melky Cabrera in that 1 year with the Royals had a 200 hit season. Fastball strikes out Kipnis. Kipnis has struck out 3 times today, and he is 0 for 4. So let's go to the board.
Got him.
How about it?
Nice going.
Wow, how about that? Damon and Sweeney did it the same year. I didn't remember that. That was the 2nd consecutive season, 2000, that the Royals set a franchise record for runs scored. They set the record in '99. They had no bullpen. They reset the record in 2000 and still did not have a bullpen. Escobar backhands and throws out Lindor. 2 down.
Hud, Ryan and I have talked about this before. If you were going into a big league season and in spring training, the writers or whoever came to you and said, what are your goals for the season? I would have said, and Ryan agreed, 200 hits, period. If I get 200 or more hits, all the other numbers are going to fall in place. You give me 200 or more hits, I've had a heck of a year.
Wow. That takes a lot of courage to say that, because it took me about 5 years to get 200 hits.
Well, that's all right. You still got there.
I probably would have answered, if I could just stay healthy one whole season, I might could put some numbers up.
But yeah. I like, you know, Denny brought that up my first year with the Royals, and I thought, you know, you're right, because you could say 100 RBIs, but you may not get that many opportunities.
Right.
You know, you are relying on other teammates to be on base. You are relying on a pitcher that's going to give you the opportunity. And the same for 100 runs, the same for whatever 50 or 60 stolen bases. Rex, by the way, had 94 hits in 1996.
It's another embarrassment.
Good. Oh, for who?
300. I had 375 plate appearances that year, I think.
Okay, but yeah, that's 200 hits. There are not many guys questioning the validity of a good season when they're putting together 200 hits.
Yeah. Or you could go with Mickey Rivers' theory. They asked him in spring training one year what his goals were, and Mickey said, well, you know, I'd like to hit 300. I'd like to score 100 runs, and I'd like to stay injury prone.
That's beautiful.
Well, I don't know if that's going to work out for you, Mick.
There's a little bit of Yogi in all of us.
Danny Duffy faces 3 and strikes out 2 in a scoreless bottom of the 6th inning. 6th inning, chatting with Dave Island. 5-3 Indians. Here's our greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Aaron Hill had a 3-home-run game for Milwaukee at Cincinnati. He drove in 7, hit a go-ahead grand slam late. And Denny, you being an Illinois native and a lot of family and friends back in that state, they must be thrilled. The Cubs have the best record in the National League. The White Sox have the best record in the American League.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like when those two teams get together in interleague? Is that going to be wild or what?
It's awesome.
It's the Windy City now, I guess you could say, is the epicenter of Major League Baseball, huh?
And those two names in particular, you've got one guy that, a year ago at this time, Salvi hits it a mile but foul. One guy you might assume would be on that list, and that would be Chris Sale. Did Salvi hit that ball out of the stadium?
No, but a fan made a great basket catch.
So you got one guy, Chris Sale, I think a year ago, but who would have imagined Jake Arrieta would turn into the monster that he has turned into?
You and I have talked about every player coming to the big leagues has his own timetable. Some guys are right away with it. They get it right away and they're good. Other guys sometimes 4 or 5 years. You think Baltimore would love to have Arrieta back?
What was that trade for Steve Clevenger, I think?
Yeah.
Holtzy's going to look it up. Steve Clevenger, he did okay for Baltimore for a while, but he's with Seattle now. And now Jake Arrieta is coming off a couple of no-hitters and a Cy Young, and right in the middle of that turnaround on the north side. Salvi hits it into the left field corner. Brantley plays the bounce. Salvi wants 2, and he is in there. That's a second double of the day for Salvador Perez. And now the Royals will have the tying run coming to the plate with nobody out. It was Steve Clevenger and Scott Feldman. That's who the Orioles received in the trade for Jake Arrieta.
And they essentially gave up on Arrieta. And we saw him a couple of times with Baltimore. You can understand maybe why they did. He wasn't all that impressive. He didn't get it together. And all of a sudden the light goes on. And boy, you got a guy who's, like you said, Cy Young Award winner, a couple of no-hitters.
Tomlin got a chance to start the 7th inning, but he gives up a double. Terry Francona is out to make a pitching change. Chevy called to the bullpen for the Indians. Tying run. He has Salvador Perez at second base and nobody out. A Mazda Taminia game break. Bartolo Colon, 42 years old. A home run off of James Shields. The first home run of his career at the age of 42. He's the oldest in Major League history to hit his first Major League home run. And I was I heard the call on the Mets broadcast, and Gary Cohen, the great play-by-play announcer for the Mets, somewhat tongue-in-cheek said, "This is one of the greatest moments in baseball history."
In Bartolo's mind, yes.
Look at, he's going back to an empty dugout.
Yep.
What a feeling. It's your first career home run at 42, and there's no one to give you any love for it.
Except his manager, and that's it.
Way to go, TC. And here they come. Look.
It does prove what you guys have heard since you were 3 years old. You go up there with a bat in your hand, you're dangerous.
Right. I'm paraphrasing, but I think I heard that after the game, somebody asked James Shields, what was the pitch that you threw him? And he said fastball. The next question was, when he hit it, did you think it was going to go out of the ballpark? And his response was, next question. So he wasn't too thrilled about giving up a home run to Bartolo Colon. Zach McAllister to Cheslor Cuthbert, and that catches the outside. Cheslor is grounded to third and struck out. Hud, you like this matchup for the Royals?
I do, because McAllister loves his fastball. He'll go 89 and 95 with that big pitch. He cuts it, the fastball, and he's got a split finger. But the fastballs is what the Royals love.
Breaking ball stayed up, and Lindor throws off the bag, and Cuthbert will get an infield single, and now 2 on with nobody out.
It was a breaking ball, so he was out in front of it. Lindor might have rushed it just a tad. Got on top of the ball, had enough to get him. Now you'll see if Ned's going to go to a little small ball here with nobody out. Let's see. Colon's a guy who can move it. Well, sometimes he'll let him swing away.
The Indians think he's going to bunt. They have Uribe in at third, Napoli in at first.
And with Perez at second, you have to make a really good bunt if you're going to go that way.
Which may be the reason why the bunt was not on for that first pitch.
Yeah, if you are bunting, you make the third baseman vacate third. You bunt it to the third baseman. Got to get it firm down the line.
Do we see the wheel play bunt defense as much as we used to?
No.
Doesn't seem like it.
National League, they do that more because they bunt more.
Line fair. Christian Colon given the opportunity to swing away, and now the Royals get a great bounce. And almost got a second run, so Salvador Perez scores. Colon gets it inside the line. And maybe with a little faster runner, the Royals get a second run, but that ball did not bounce off the side wall the way Brantley thought it would.
5th Royals double. Way to go. That's a fastball right down the middle. And he hooked it, and the only thing was Uribe. If he catches it. No, it didn't. You're right. Got a good bounce there, so it got everybody in scoring position. Now, I believe that Cuthbert could have scored, but with nobody out, a third base coach is not going to send him home and risk that with nobody out. He's got a chance to get some more guys at the plate and knock them in.
So it's a 1-run game as Dyson takes up an away ball 1.
Yeah, forget the bunt. And they're double happy today.
Dyson chops it out to short. Cuthbert comes to the plate. Lindor comes to the plate, and Cuthbert is out. And meanwhile, Colon stays put at second base. And Colon has his hands on his hips, and he's looking at Mike Jerschele, and I think what he's doing is saying, should I have gone to third on that play?
Now, you know, Cuthbert might have made it had he broke on contact, but he didn't. He hesitated. And when you hesitate like that, you know, and you got a shortstop coming in on the play with a good arm, you're going to be out.
Yeah, the shortstop even hitched a half step before he unloaded.
Watch Cuthbert down here. See, he didn't break on contact right away. He hesitated it, and even his first 2 steps he wasn't sure. When in doubt, just stay there with nobody out. Let him get the out at first. Still got opportunities.
So now this becomes the last 2 minutes of a basketball game, as we have a pitching change. A righty will replace a righty. Brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. So this inning has taken quite a turn with two batters, as Brian Shaw comes on, and he can be a ground ball pitcher, and Terry Francona wants a ground ball and a double play with Alcides Escobar at the plate. Royals have Colon at second, Dyson at first with one out, and a slider is low. So two plays. You get the double from Colon. That makes it a one-run game. You have runners at second and third and nobody out. So the Royals gain the momentum. And then the ground ball by Dyson changes the momentum. There's a ground ball foul. I think Dyson was probably hoping to get something in the air with runners at second and third. We saw Cuthbert hesitating coming down from third, and then Colon not advancing. You can almost accept the out at the plate a little more if you get Colon to third base on that play.
Because now Dyson then could steal second. Stay away from a double play.
Escobar ground ball to second. Shaw gets the ground ball, and the Royals only get one run out of that inning. Thank you, Denny.
You're welcome, Ryan. You're welcome to use my blazer anytime you want.
It is a one-run game to the bottom of the seventh. So Cleveland had a 1-0 lead. The Royals had a 3-1 lead. Cleveland led 5-3. The Royals just got a run in the top of the 7th inning to make it a 1-run game. But they were really in position in the 7th after scoring that first run to drive in a couple of more runs and set things up for the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. You know, Cuthbert made a young player's mistake there, not really realizing that with nobody out, you still have plenty of time to get something going there. But that's going to happen. And I think Ned and a lot of broadcasters, or excuse me, a lot of managers will say it's okay to be aggressive in certain spots, but maybe not there.
Right. And maybe not the right guy right there. So there is Ned Yost, and we got a chance to hear from him talking about his mother on Mother's Day.
Call my mom every day, and you know, she lives and dies. That's what her day revolves around now. She's 83 years old, and her day revolves around our game. So it's funny she doesn't do it much anymore, but she used to always want to tell me what I did wrong or what I should be doing better. And I tell her, Mom, this is going to be a real short conversation unless you be quiet. So she's learned to not do that as much anymore. But
and Ned said that goes back to his Little League days, that his mom would take him to the games and always had some comments about the games afterward. And
yep. Moms want to help.
Luke Hochevar on for the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 ball and 1 strike against Mike Napoli. Appearance number 13 for Hochevar.
Eleven strikeouts, 11 in the 3rd innings. He's got strikeout ability.
And he's ahead 1-2 on Napoli.
So going with that curveball. He's got a nice cutter too. He uses away from righties. 4-seam fastball up in the zone.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Broken bat in half. And if you want to know how dangerous the bat can be, there it is. That sharp end piercing the grass on the infield. So it's not just the balls flying into the stands. Why they suggested the extra netting, it's because of that.
Yeah. Like a lawn dart.
And there is some of the extended netting here. It's been a bit disappointing to see the teams that have decided not to extend their netting. But here in Cleveland, one of the stadiums that did. Yan Gomes is 0 for 2. He has reached with a walk and he has scored a run.
He wanted to swing at that first one.
High and deep to center field. And Lorenzo Cain has room. These are off-season training buddies. There were some bragging rights on the line there, and now Gomes walks right by Hochevar on his way back to the 3rd base dugout. They were teammates at one time at the University of Tennessee.
And no eye contact.
At least from Hoch.
Yeah, Hoch looked away.
I almost got you, buddy. There we go. There's a little comment. And now Chisenhall. No balls and 1 strike. Two hits for Chisenhall and an RBI single. It was his base hit that drove Volquez out of the game with 1 out in the 5th inning. And now 0-2.
to watch Hochevar how he sets up hitters. Got the good four-seam fastball. He'll go above the belt with that. And he gets 2 strikes, and really then he drops that curveball on you and comes out of the same plane as that high fastball. See if he goes with the curve here.
3 pitches, down he goes. Hochevar 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 7th. Late inning comeback. That's what the Royals need, down by 1. Faces 3, retires 3, and gets a strikeout. Panera takes us around the league. The Dodgers are at Toronto. 3-2. Los Angeles leads in the 8th inning. The Giants are 1 game back, or the Dodgers are 1 game back of the Giants. Texas at Detroit. Justin Verlander has bounced back. He got knocked around by the Indians in his last start. Detroit 1 game under 500. Chicago leads Minnesota 2-1. Chicago's lead in the Central is 5 games. And Houston leads at Seattle. Seattle's leading the West, and Houston is 9 games below 500. That's Rajai Davis taking over in center field. And Lonnie Chisenhall, who was in center field, shifts to right. So Davis bats in Marlon Byrd's spot in the 8th position. Brian Shaw stays on for the top of the 8th inning. Terry Francona started with Zach McAllister, and Hud was right. He thought that was a great matchup for the Royals, and they were all over McAllister. And Francona brought in Shaw with runners at first and second and 1 out, hoping for a ground ball double play, and that's exactly what he got from Alcides Escobar.
Yep, he's got really good off-speed pitches. Shaw he's got a decent fastball too. He's going to go low 90s with that pitch. Sets up the big curve and the cutter. He's got an excellent cut fastball, and his curveball's a good bender. Doesn't break right over the top. It's more of a side curve, which can get hit more. It's a little bit more of a lateral plane.
There's that cutter, 94 miles an hour with that movement. Lorenzo Cain is 2 for 4 today.
He has some exceptional movement on the secondary pitches. And that was his fastball.
Here's Eric Hosmer, 1 for 3 with a 2-run home run. Cutter catches the outside, 0-1. Our Toyota League leaders for today. Royals have scored 4. They are 14-1 when they score 4 or more runs this year. But today, they're going to need more than 4. It's been a key number for the division leading White Sox. They have not lost a game yet this year when they score 4 or more, and Chicago is 11 games above 500, and we just showed you that they are leading in the 6th inning against Minnesota. Got the call. 1-2.
Indians have played 11 one-run games this year. That ball didn't have to be. Yeah, Oz knew better. And those 11 one-run games is a lot. It's tied for 3rd in Major League Baseball, and the record is 4-7 in those.
And a lot of times it is one of the difference maker statistics, how a team does in the close games, in the one-run games. A lot of times it'll also tell you how good a team's bullpen is. Here you go, the Phillies, maybe the biggest surprise in the major league so far. They're 3 games over 500. They've played the most one-run games, and they're 10-3. So that's a reason why they've played well. Hosmer gets it off the netting of a dugout suite on the third base side.
Heads up in there. He didn't want to swing at this one. Nothing is straight that comes out of Shaw's hand, that's for sure. Trying to jam him there. This guy's, he's a good reliever.
Rounded foul again, and Shaw has a similar story to Mariano Rivera, and really it's a similar story to a lot of pitchers. You don't want to compare his cutter to Rivera's, which is probably the best in Major League history, but Mariano Rivera was just playing catch in the outfield one day with the Yankees bullpen catcher, just experimenting with grips. Rivera was a 97, 98 guy when he first came up, and something just clicked. And Brian Shaw, the same thing in instructional league one day with Wade Miley, of all people, who's also a big league pitcher, just experimenting with grips, and then voila, suddenly he has a pitch that got him to the big leagues. Hosmer lays off the pitch down, and he'll take a walk. 1 on 1 out in the 8th inning. All right, Royals fans, time for you to get back to work like you did last year. Vote for your Royals. You can do it up to 35 times, including a maximum of 5 ballots in any 24-hour period. So Royals fans last year were part of Major League Baseball history, and we hope you can do it again for the 2016 All-Star Game. Vote at Royals.com/vote. Now Shaw has to be very careful with where he places his cutter to Kendrys Morales, because Cody Anderson yesterday tried to get a little cutter in on him in the top of the 1st inning, and Kendrys hit it 442 feet.
Yep. We're gonna go in there again.
Right off the mask of home plate umpire Quinn Wolcott, and the count is 1-1.
Left-handed hitters against Shaw this year, 400. Eight for 20 with 1 homer from the left side of the plate, so he can be vulnerable. Ball coming in.
Ooh. Might have been the one. It's 1-2.
Cutter right over the middle of the plate.
And he's given righties a bad time. You got Kane with a strikeout, and now 3 straight left-hand batters. Hosmer runs, swing and a miss. Throw is in time. Strikeout, throw out, double play. And that's all for the Royals in the 8th inning. Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Love this day, and the players do, especially by them with no problem sending us pictures with them and their beautiful moms, their wives. Ileana, sorry about, well, not this one here. That was the home run for you, Mom. But then he broke it in this last at bat. Sorry about that. He probably has a couple extra of those.
I bet Mom will end up with that bat.
Yeah.
Joakim Soria comes out of the Royals bullpen with the Royals down by 1. That's Soria's team leading 16th appearance. Rajai Davis, who just came on defensively in the last half inning, will lead off. Davis, Uribe, and Santana against Soria. Line foul. They might need a little more aggressive ball boy up the left field line.
Well, it looked like he turned his head just in time. Might have got hit.
He's the guy with the glove.
Yeah, he backed off of that. Anyway, that curveball from Soria hung up there in the middle a little bit. Can't afford to give them any more runs here. He's got 4 pitches. Wants to try to stay down, use the corners. He will elevate by design at times with his fastball.
One and 2 on Davis, who was in the starting lineup for the first 2 games of the series, and is just 1 for 8. Off of Salvi's mask. Volquez went 4 1/3 and charged with all 5 runs. 1 run scored after he was removed. Danny Duffy went an inning and a third scoreless. Luke Hochevar pitched a scoreless inning. Strike 3 called. Soria also pitched yesterday in the Royals' 7-0 victory. Had a 3-up, 3-down 9th inning. He closed out the game.
No arguments there.
That'll bring up Juan Uribe.
A little bit of a quick pitch there by Soria. He has that in his arsenal.
One ball, one strike. The appearance yesterday for Soria was his 313th as a Royal. And that broke a tie with Dennis Leonard. And now Soria has the 5th most appearances by a pitcher in Royals history. Rounded fair, diving play, Cuthbert. Strike to Hosmer. My goodness.
He caught that ball in left field. That ball was by him. Woo! Wow. That was some kind of backhander there.
And Mike Moustakas, who makes plays similar to that often, he had to take his hoodie off so that he could tip his cap to Cuthbert.
That's special. And if you're Uribe, you are just upset. And he just took a double away from you. Great play.
And now 2 down to Carlos Santana. Big curveball is low.
You talked about what a spring he had defensively, Cuthbert. I guess they played him a lot early in spring.
I mean, he made 3 or 4 plays like that in spring training on balls like you just described. I mean, base hit. Oh, wait a minute. Here comes Cuthbert out of nowhere.
Huh. That was a beauty.
Remember to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the Rally House locations in the KC metro area, and you'll be registered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Three and one on Santana. Soria, after struggling early, has had 5 straight scoreless outings. That covers 5 1/3 innings. Rounded right to Escobar. So you can make it 6 consecutive scoreless outings over 6 1/3 for Soria, and he keeps the Indians at 5 runs. To the 9th inning, it'll be Gordon, Perez, and Cuthbert with the Royals down by 1. Royals are down by 1 as they come up in the 9th inning in the deciding game of this series. And then after the game today, on to New York. The Royals will not see Alex Rodriguez, our University of Kansas hospital injury report, on the disabled list with a strained right hamstring, and was off to a slow start, which makes you wonder how long the hamstring was bothering him. He had a comeback season last year after missing the year before because of the suspension, batting just .194. Chris Young tomorrow, then Chris Medlin, Yordano Ventura, Ian Kennedy. And the Yankees with Ivan Nova. He took CC Sabathia's spot in the rotation. Sabathia's on the DL. And then Tanaka, Pineda, and Eovaldi. All 4 games on Fox Sports Kansas City, all games at night. Cody Allen, 7 out of 7 in save opportunities, but look at the ERA, 6.35.
3 home runs he's given up. Fastball, 90 to 95. It's straight, and he's got a power curve.
Fastball is upstairs. Jose Ramirez is now at third base for Juan Uribe. Broken bat. And Davis goes into left center field to make the play. 1 down. And now Salvador Perez, who has good numbers against Cody Allen. Get a chance. You want to read the story at KansasCity.com. Kansas City Stars Vahe Gregorian wrote a great story about Salvador Perez and his relationship with his mother Yilda. And with Alex Gordon just flying out. While you're at it, if you go to Royals.com, Jeffrey Flanagan also wrote a nice story about Alex Gordon, his relationship with his mother Leslie on this Mother's Day. Out in front, so like he was looking for a breaking ball, but thought that breaking ball was going to be thrown harder than it was.
He's not going to serve up a fastball to Salvi if he didn't have to.
Did he go? No. First base umpire Mark Carlson.
Ooh, man.
Not even close.
Yeah, right. So look, Salvi's great relationship he has with all those umpires.
Yep.
Maybe that gave him one here.
He has 2 doubles already today. And that one's called a strike. So he was trying to get Salvi away, and maybe that's what fooled Salvi, because that one was up and in. 2 down.
All hooks. This one here was a hanger. If he knew it was coming, he'd hit that ball to the park.
And now Chesler Cuthbert, who just made a great play in the bottom of the 8th on Uribe. 1 for 3 today with an infield single. Fastball with some late movement at 96.
A little giddy up on.
Drove in his first run with a base hit yesterday at the big league level. He had 28 RBIs at AAA, and that led the Pacific Coast League. 0-2. $14,463. And the Indians did not draw more than 17,000 in any of these 3 games over the weekend. Cuthbert off the end of the bat and right to Lindor. So the Indians take 2 out of 3 from the Royals. And Terry Francona got scoreless outings from all 3 relievers today. McAllister, Shaw, and Allen. Final score 5-4. We'll be right back.